Perceptions and Cultures by Andrea Burdon. What is web-based social cognition? Well, first, let's start with social cognition. Social cognition is a branch of social psychology focusing on how people process, store, and apply information about other people. Now, web-based social cognition is pretty much the same thing, but it's how we process, store, and apply that information that we've gathered of other people online or through the use of technology. It's how we form initial impressions of other people online. Julian S. Burrell says that the lens through which your brain sees the world shapes your reality. If you can change the lens, not only can you change the way your brain perceives behaviors, but you can change the way people relate to cultural differences. Now, how does culture relate to our perceptions of others? Our perceptions and first impressions of other people within the same culture are not always accurate. It's impossible to read people's minds, so it's impossible to always know what someone else is thinking. However, if we understand the nonverbal cues of a culture, it's much easier to understand them and to make a more accurate first impression. Burrell continues on to say that when we conform to the whole society, and here he's talking of the whole society of a new culture, then you can truly benefit from diversity. If we truly want to understand and benefit from people of different cultures, we must first acknowledge the differences between their culture and ours. Angela M. Sabates says, we watch what others say, watch what they do, and how they look to develop impressions that ultimately lead to a coherent synthesis of the other person. She continues on to say that we are continuously engaging in the process of noting, evaluating, and drawing conclusions. It's ongoing and always happening. And that we are doing this, drawing conclusions and making notes of other people and ourselves. We generally do this quickly and automatically, and quite often we're confident with our outcome and our perceptions. Angela Sabates says that it's impossible to always get it right and to get all the information, and that makes sense. However, most of the time we can get accurate enough to get along with others well enough. Cross-cultural perceptions. It would be impossible for unspoken perceptions not to vary from one culture to the next. This includes perceptions of ourselves as well as others. For example, what weight means, what smiling means, as well as photography. In certain cultures, your weight says a lot about you. Well, in most cultures. In the US, it's common for society to judge other women by their weight. We have come a long way, and it continues to change and grow. However, it is still common for models on the cover of magazines to look really skinny, and this is what is commonly associated with the perfect body type or the perfect image. Women just want to look skinny. In other cultures, however, such as Italy or Greece, this is not the case. Being skinny is a sign that you're unhealthy. The more meat on your bones, the better off you are, because it shows that you're financially stable and that you can provide food for your family and to have food on the table. Smiling. Smiling is different cross-culturally. In the US and Canada, where I grew up, smiling to strangers is not uncommon. It happens all the time. We smile and wave and greet one another, even if we don't know someone on the street. In the Czech Republic, however, smiling at a stranger is not common. This doesn't mean they're angry or upset, it's just that they don't show their emotions on their face. Finally, photography. This one kind of got me. As a photographer, one of my favorite things to do is to capture emotions, whether that's strangers on the street, my friends, or my family. However, I've never thought twice, really. However, when I traveled to Guatemala, I was warned that this is absolutely unacceptable. In their culture, they believe that having your photo taken steals part of your soul and puts it into the photograph. The Czech Republic and the US are very different culturally. It's very common, first of all, to live with extended family. In the US, as soon as you turn 18, as soon as you graduate high school, you move, you go to college, and you're gone. Usually you don't move back in with your parents. However, in the Czech Republic, it's very common to get your degree, to go to college, and to continue living with your family until you get married. This is a very different perception. What we perceive as maybe a 30-year-old living at home with his parents might not be the same what Czechs perceive as a 30-year-old living at home with their parents. As noted earlier, smiling is rather uncommon with strangers in the Czech. Walking down the street, it's rare to see another Czech smiling. This doesn't mean that they're angry or upset, like I said, they just don't show emotions on their face. However, if a boy sees a girl smiling at him, or vice versa, they will assume it's with provocative or flirtatious intent. Along these same lines, Czechs are very reserved and formal, until you get to know them. A common saying is that Americans are like peaches. They're soft and squishy on the outside, but hard on the inside, and hard to get to know once you get into the deep stuff. However, Czechs are like coconuts. They're hard on the outside, but if you can break through that shell, they're really soft and sweet and gushy on the inside, and they'll be a friend for life. They also don't do small talk. It just doesn't happen. It's very uncommon to even hear the words, how are you? They do have words, it's jak se máš. However, that's only if you really want to get into it, and it's like, how are you really doing? However, Americans, it's almost second nature. It's a greeting. Hey, how's it going today? It's not that we really want to know how you're doing, it's just second nature. They also don't say I love you. In America, we love pizza, we love football, we love our chapstick, we love our shirt, we love everything in America. However, in the Czech Republic, it's very, very uncommon to say that I love you, even to a family member. It's usually rare to hear a parent say it to their children. The only time it's really said is between spouses. Another cultural difference is wearing shoes inside. In the US, it's not uncommon to wear your shoes around the house, as long as they're not wet or dirty or muddy. However, in the Czech Republic, it's extremely rude to wear your shoes in the house. They even, most of the time, will have a pair of house shoes called papuče for their guests. Czechs also often wear the same outfit for multiple days in a row. It's not uncommon. Unless you sweat or really get your shirt dirty, it's really not that dirty, so it's not that weird. However, in America, it's very uncommon to wear the same thing multiple days in a row. Czechs embrace this. They'll wear the same outfit for 2, 3, sometimes 4 days. To me, and when I first learned this, it kind of surprised me and honestly kind of weirded me out. But after I thought about it, like I said, your clothes really aren't dirty after one wear, unless you're running around sweating or something of the like. But if you're just doing normal everyday activities, they're really not that dirty, so why not embrace it? Why not wear clothes for more than one day before throwing it in the hamper? It also really surprised me that Czechs don't say I love you. I get not saying I love pizza or I love football, however, to not even say it to your friends or your siblings, that was surprising to me. After researching and understanding the Czech culture more, my perception of them has changed. I've come to have a much deeper appreciation for their culture and the way that they communicate with one another. I appreciate that their words really hold meaning and that they think very deeply about everything they say before they say it. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you loved my presentation.